Hello, my name is Megan O'Russell.
And my name is Christopher Russell, and welcome back to Page by Page, writing the book in real time. Megan, why are you laughing?
I am giggling because we are actually traveling right now to spend some time with some other authors for it's
a publishing retreat.
Fulfilling and learning retreat, and it's great. But we are currently recording in the garage of the massive Airbnb where we were staying. Now, we had a plan because we are actually staying in a platform tent out away from the main house. And we were like, ooh, solitude. We're going to record the podcast in this beautiful, glamorous, glamping tent, and it'll be the best.
The best laid plans.
And here, we're going to cut you to a little clip that we recorded from that tent. And this is us talking from inside our beautiful platform tent where we so naively thought we could record before we realized how close we were to the river. Take a moment, enjoy the river. So, Chris, as a sound guy, what is this river? How do you feel about the river?
I feel that when we were talking for the podcast, I could gate the sound so that you weren't just hearing this whenever there was supposed to be silence, but then you would just hear our voices sound like this. It would actually be very discombobulating because you wouldn't want to just hear the river in the background the entire time. It would be very odd. Yeah,
and through like car speakers, it'd be awful. But just so you know, we are so close to the river in this platform tent that we're about a foot away from the bank, the edge of our tent to the bank, and it is not a slow river. So sleeping in here is amazing. But yes, all right, off to the recording studio. Well,
Sounds
back to
good.
the recording studio.
Well, yeah, back to
We're
the
recording this before we go there, but you know what I mean. Okay, let's go. So yeah, now we are in a garage. There's some pictures of it. I'll post it on social media. I'm going to post some pictures of today's recording studio because there's going to be some sounds.
Yeah.
But you know what? We are rolling with it. And also, this is the in-between season.
It's the in-between.
It's the in-between, and we decided on a shorter format and going into Laurie's story for a while because we knew that this was going to be a time with a lot of work because we are getting the ebooks out to the Kickstarter backers for Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer.
Yep, that'll be happening this month.
Yeah, and we also have like a huge amount of events in the past 4 weeks have been so event packed. So we knew that this was going to come.
Yes.
And so we are being very chill. And we are going with the flow.
And something that is helping us with the chill is we did not do liquor this week.
Because we had to go through Utah to get here. So we did our best. We have some low ABV beer.
Yes, we do. So this is from Uinta?
UINTA.
Yeah, brewing company. I'm having the Cutthroat Pale Ale, which has a salmon on it. And what are you having?
Was Angeles, which...
Was Angeles.
Los Angeles, which kind of looks like Los Angeles got eaten by icebergs. I don't know.
No, it was Angeles. Okay, got it.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Cheers with our cans in the garage. Okay, so are we doing a previously on?
Yeah, I think that we
should.
Oh, well, yeah, then, let's go. Okay, so why don't you... Yeah, do a slight previously on.
Wait, are you going to do music or no music?
Yeah, I'm going to do music for this.
Okay, so the music's coming now.
The music's coming right now.
Previously on, and other words for fun.
Now.
After a wedding that wasn't, when Laurie's marriage to the werewolf alpha son was arranged by her mother and she ran the fuck out of town, she has landed as a cocktail server at a high-end Etherean run club that caters to humans, Etherians, and Arabites
in New York City.
In New York City. We are in the center of the universe, circa mid-2000s. The aughts, circa mid-aughts with Laurie, having a very bad serving shift.
Yes,
honestly, this is for all my servers out there. If I had had this serving shift, I would have had a vodka bottle screaming in the walk-in. I would have been in the walk-in freezer, vodka bottle in hand, just
those of you who
don't
know that reference, it is like if you're a server and you just have people that are impossible, or even if not, even if it's just been one of those days that we all have. When you're serving, it can be very, very stressful.
And you have to fucking smile.
Yeah, not that other jobs can't, but serving is definitely one of the more stressful jobs I have had in my life. And you go into the walk-in and you cool down and you scream a little bit and you feel better. It's good.
Literally cool down.
Literally.
Because you sweat a lot and then people are being angry at you and you're overheated.
Yeah.
And so you go and you just stand in the cold and scream for 60 seconds.
Straight. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Sometimes, depending on where you work, they give you a shot on your way back out. Who's to say? It's only happened 2 places where I've worked, so
true.
maybe it's not common.
That's true.
But all right, enough on server life. Let us dive in.
All right, let us dive in.
Before we lose our garage.
Okay, you remember that you were doing the music, yes? You remember? You got it? You got it?
Yeah,
okay.
I got it.
You're feeling it? Okay. Then I invite you to episode 3 of And Other Words for Fun, Not Where You Belong. Knowing vampires turn to ash when they die and seeing the chalky Oh, gosh. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, what do you guys think? Should we keep that for season 2? Should we just have Megan doing that?
I like the other one. This is only for the in-between season. Okay, no,
right.
Start again before I have to sing.
Okay. All right. So, Not Where You Belong. Knowing vampires turn to ash when they die and seeing the chalky gray piles on the floor are two very different things. A big pile had a single line to one side, like the vampire had been standing, reaching out with one arm when he'd been murdered, killed, self-defense to death. My brain couldn't find a way to logic through what the fuck had happened in the locked room. 5 piles of dust. 2 were body-shaped like splatted cartoons. I think those vamps died on the ground. The 3 abstract ash blobs must have died on their feet, but who the fuck's to say how? A 6th vampire had died in their unaltered, non-fanged form, so they, following the fucked up way of the Ethereans, presented human in death. I wouldn't have even known what he was without the reliquary clan tattoo on his neck. Another Etherean, Banshee from the outfit, had died curled up in the corner like they'd tried and failed to hide from the violence of the vampire's brawl. Ambush? Deal gone wrong? How the hell did that many people die without anyone unlocking the door to escape? One more dead body lay crammed in the front corner of the room, behind a now ashed settee, out of view from the window Creepy Jay had smashed through when the guests in the private room didn't answer his order to unlock the door. I'd tried to tell Jay we should ask Lonzo if there was a less destructive way to get into the room, which would have saved my ass so much trouble, but Jay took the guest's silence as an insult and smashed right on through the locked, very sturdily hatched window to see who'd dared ignore him. Corpses had ignored Jay. Motherfucker. Jay.
I'm sorry. Your Jay voice. Okay, continue.
Motherfucker. Jay pushed away from the window, giving me a chance to see the carnage for myself. Why the fuck do these fuckers have to fuck shit up? Just to piss you off. I took the drinks off the little shelf in front of the window, wishing they were something decent for a wolf's palate, and set them on the floor. The fuck are you doing? Jay said as I popped myself up to lay stomach down on the tray, reaching into the room to slide open the bolt that locked the door from the inside. The stench of blood, ash, a huge amount of spilled vodka, and something tangy I didn't recognize filled the newly minted tomb. Twisting, I looked toward the unknown scent. It was the corpse in the corner. I knew there was something really fucking wrong the second I saw her blood. Too dark a shade of red, not reflecting the golden glow of the Gothic chandelier the way blood should, but sucking it in, destroying the light in, I swear to fuck, an intentional, cosmically ordered kind of way. Erabite blood. It had to be. She had to be. Though what race, I didn't know. It took me a second to figure out why, other than the corpses and ash, everything in me screamed that a reasonable person should launch into survival mode, but I haven't managed to make myself care much about survival since the wedding that wasn't, so my heart stayed calm as I reasoned through my uh-oh instinct. Styx has very few rules for the 5th floor. 1, everyone who goes into a private room goes in willingly. 2, everyone who goes into a private room comes out alive. Unless they have a prearranged agreement with Lonzo. There's a weird fetish for hospice patients, and if that's how a human wants to go, who am I to judge? 3, absolutely no fucking Arabites. Shit. I wiggled back as gracefully as my sequin skirt allowed. You're telling Lonzo about this shit, Jay said. I don't give a fuck that you're wearing heels. I don't give a fuck about your tips. He kept talking while I shimmied my skirt and tiny top back into place and opened the door. You tell Lonzo about this, he'll shout for a minute, then coddle you because poor baby wolf can't handle the fucked up world, Jay said. I tell Lonzo I'm gonna get my ass reamed and shoved onto human fucking doorman duty, and I fucking hate that shit. The scene looked worse from inside the $10,000 a night sin pit turned bloodbath. Red spatter sprayed up the left-hand wall. I think it came from the vamp that died in human form, but I don't know.
Geometry would, theoretically, help me calculate who died in what order, but I don't know a formula for blood spurt pressure or how to pair weapons to wounds, especially when most of the corpses are ash and... All right, I'm going to take a drink. I got there pretty decent amount.
That was really good.
Thanks.
That wasn't really good.
It was, yeah, I've had better.
You've had better, but we are jet lagged and in a garage, and I'm
I
really
should have a
proud
cigarette.
of
I've had better. All right.
you. Sir!
Well, just when I said that, I was like, oh, that has a very negative connotation depending on, what you're talking about. All right, going back. What? Stop looking at me. Geometry. Stop it. Geometry would, theoretically, help me calculate who died in what order, but I don't know a formula for blood spurt pressure or how to pair weapons to wounds, especially when most of the corpses are ash, or how the hell 8 people died in a building packed with everyone from humans to demons and no one fucking noticed. Correction. How 7 people died. The Arabite in the corner twitched, the movement barely big enough to catch my eye. Motherfucker. Jay stayed in the doorway as I knelt beside the Arabite, her blood staining my knees as I rolled her onto her back. 2 sharp features, claw-like... Well, that's not the intention, Christopher. 2 sharp features, claw-like well-polished nails, teeth meant for rending... Oh, come on. Motherfucker. Jay stayed in the doorway as I knelt beside the Arabite, her blood staining my knees as I rolled onto... It's going well.
Motherfucker. Jay stayed in the doorway as I knelt beside the Arabite, her blood staining my knees as I rolled onto her back.
Go away. Stop it. All right, no, I'll keep it in because that was funny. All right, so okay, actually back into it. Motherfucker. Jay stayed in the doorway as I knelt beside the Arabite, her blood staining my knees as I rolled her onto her back. 2 sharp features, claw-like well-polished nails, teeth meant for rending flesh. Hecatean. A month ago, I wouldn't have been sure I was right. A month ago, I would have been afraid of her. A month ago, I would have been smart enough to stay out of this shit show. The girl's eyes fluttered as I fumbled for her pulse, finding thumping in her neck, though it wasn't in the right place. Motherfucker, Jay spoke from right behind me. Tell me she's dead. She's not. Fuck. Fuck is fucking right. A long gash sliced across the girl's stomach, the gut displaying wound oozing more blood than most Ethereans can survive losing. I'll go tell fucking Lonzo, Jay said. Tell him there's a girl who needs help. I needed to wrap the wound or sew her up or, I don't fucking know, do some weird underworld shit Ethereans aren't meant to know about. Go wipe the blood off your legs and get back to work. Jay sighed, like there was puke on the floor instead of a potentially dying, living being. I don't know how to help a Hecatean, but Lonzo, no one's helping anyone. She's bleeding. Just go do your fucking job. She needs... Lonzo's going to kill her. What? I leapt to my feet, the general numbness of my soul ebbing as the much more appealing need to defend kicked in. She's an Arabite. Fucked up dickwad Jay dug his knuckle into the bridge of his nose, not seeming to notice the growl rumbling in my throat. Dead Ethereans are bad for optics. Misbehaving Arabites are bad for business. Blame an Arabite for shit going sideways, execute the offender, solve both problems. That's bullshit, and it's how it fucking goes. Jay pointed to the door, no hint of sympathy or regret on his face. I know how Lonzo works. I've seen it happen before. No reason you should have to see it too. Get the fuck back to work. Lonzo can't pin 7 deaths on her. We don't even know what the hell happened in here. She might not have done anything wrong. Arabite came to the 5th floor. That'll be good enough for Lonzo. Anger whooshed in my ears. What if the Ethereans made her come up here? What if she didn't know Arabites aren't allowed on the 5th floor? Lord, what if she didn't start the fight or whatever the fuck went wrong in here? She's Arabite. That doesn't automatically make her capable of killing 6 vampires and a banshee. Jay scrubbed his hands over his buzzed hair. I can't put this in easier fucking terms. How we ended up with ash and blood on the floor doesn't fucking matter. Lonzo will see the Arabite, blame the Arabite, kill the Arabite. Make sure all the supers know that an Arabite fucked up by Arabites get enough shit. It doesn't fucking matter, so just fucking go. Jay hit each word with its own beat, like rhythmic emphasis might spark sudden understanding. We can't let Lonzo execute an innocent girl. There is no let involved. I liked the way my pulse quickened as I cut around Jay to plant myself in the doorway. My racing heart gave proof I'm alive. Handing that girl to Lonzo knowing he's going to kill her is the same damn thing as slicing her head off ourselves. It's fucking not. Yes, it is, and we're not going to let it happen. We're? Jay snorted a laugh. This could be fun. Don't be a dick, Laurie. We're. I slipped off my shoes, dropping the 6-inch stilettos with a decisive thump-thump while keeping my gaze locked with Jay's. The shadow of fear in his eyes was the first hint of anything close to wisdom I'd ever seen from him. We are not going to hand over an innocent girl to be killed. We are going to hide her until we figure out what the hell went down here. No. Yes. For fuck's sake, no. Where the fuck do you want to put the bleeding Arabite? How the fuck are you going to figure out who the fuck killed who in here? He ticked the problems off on his fingers. And don't say ask the Arabite, because trusting anyone to tell the truth while their life is on the line and there are no other fucking witnesses is just fucking stupid. We are not giving her to Lonzo. Oh, I'm not done. Jay stepped closer to me, anger in his eyes, still counting on his fucking fingers. That shit, he pointed to the tattooed vampire, is reliquary, and even getting close to their orbit is a short path to a bad fucking death. And if this girl did kill 7 Ethereans, what are you going to do with her? Let her go and hope she doesn't fucking kill anyone else? Bring her back to Lonzo and hope he doesn't kill you for hiding a murderer who went on a spree in his fucking club? Shit. No. Calm, breathe, reason through it. Look at your resources. Make a plan. If she ends up being a murderer, you can kill her. I shrugged. Jay frowned. You're going to sneak her out and get her to my apartment. No, I'm fucking not. Do what you can for her wounds and tie her up so she doesn't kill you. Are you not hearing me? I spoke over him. Once you're gone, I'll go find Lonzo and he can be pissed off about a bunch of Ethereans killing each other. No execution necessary. Why are you talking like I'm going to do any of this shit? Jay dug his knuckle into the bridge of his nose again, like I'd managed to give him a massive headache. We can pretend it's because deep down I have faith that you're a decent person, but really, I stepped closer to him, rising up on my toes to whisper in his ear. We both know you're smart enough not to mess with a packless wolf on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Eviscerate you, turn you in for staring at my tits, burn your fucking apartment down. It all sounds like fun. I stepped back just enough to look into his eyes, not finding enough fear to be viscerally satisfying, but at least enough disconcerted worry to get my way. And I could really use a little fun. I slid my house key from its little pouch in the waistband of my thong and slipped it into his pants pocket. Take her down the guest staircase and out the back door. I can't carry a half-dead, not dead, just drunk. I grabbed an almost untainted by carnage sport coat from the arm of a very much meant for sex fainting couch and tossed it to Jay. I'll close the door, give you a few minutes head start, then freak out and go find Lonzo about the 5th floor tragedy. Jay pointed to the almost dead girl. Lonzo's not dumb enough to miss a puddle of Arabite blood. Shit. Can you burn it? I asked. Motherfucker. That's a yes? Jay tossed the coat over the girl's gut wound and scooped her into his arms. She looked so small against his mass, helpless and fragile. Nothing like the shadow-drenched monster Arabites are meant to be. Which apartment is yours? Jay asked. Yes. 221, just left of Maggie's. A surge of not quite hope, more like drive to do something other than survive and forget, lifted a weight from my chest I hadn't realized was there. Just as the lightness started to spread, Jay snapped, sparking a fire in the Arabite-contaminated corner. Don't let the whole club burn. He headed toward the door. The girl's hair shimmered too brightly in the firelight, beauty and warning all in one, but she was unconscious and I was sending her away with creepy Jay. If anything happens to her, I said, if you fucking touch her. Jay looked over his shoulder, the angry furrow in his brow a brilliant contrast to the schmarmy smile I knew and fucking loathed so much. I look, Laurie. I never touch until they're fucking begging for it. He fucking winked and disappeared into the hall, heading toward the front steps with a potential killer in his arms, leaving me with a literal fire. Shit. The growing flames definitely ruled out giving Jay a nice long head start before running for Lonzo. Okay, yep. I bounced on my toes, watching the growing fire. Everything is totally fine. The flames danced up the wall. Just don't let arson become a habit. I ran into the hall, bolting for the staff and server staircase at the far end. Jay, there's a fire! I shouted to not there Jay as I shoved open the stairwell door, knocking into Eddie, hitting him hard enough to send him stumbling forward. Fire extinguisher now! What? Eddie shouted after me as I dodged. Well, he didn't really shout that time, sorry. What? Eddie shouted after me as I dodged back into the hall, running to the front guest stairs Jay had taken the girl down a frighteningly few seconds ago. If those guards stopped him, if the fire spread too fast, if Lonzo figured out what we'd done, if he fired me, if I lost my apartment, if I had nowhere to go... My brain managed to flip through all those fears before I shoved open the door to the front stairs with mirrors, paintings, lush carpet, and 2 guards flanking the entrance to the hall of private rooms. "Get Lonzo!" I shouted to the pair. "There's a fire!" I popped the word fire out, adding enough volume to catch the ears of the guests on the staircase. Human, supernatural, doesn't matter. Shouting fire freaks people out. Beautiful chaos sparked on the stairs. "Lonzo, now!" I added for good measure, then dodged back into the hall to bang on the door across from the now spectacularly smoking murder scene. "Everyone out! We've got a fire!" I moved on to the next door, and the next. By the time Eddie found a fucking fire extinguisher, it had been hanging on the wall 5 feet away from him. 2 of the private room's doors had flung open, and the guests had poured out into the too small for a crowd hall, giving me a perfect excuse not to answer when Eddie shouted, "Where the fuck is Jared?" Jared, meaning Jay. Lonzo arrived to find a fire that Lonzo arrived to find a fire that refused to die, trying to consume the remains of several patrons who already had, and a bunch of living guests freaking the fuck out as they watched the show. A witch in leather chaps and nothing else put the fire out. Lonzo comped the drinks for all the surviving 5th floor guests and sent them back to their private rooms to continue debauching. Fancy guards I hadn't seen in Styx before went into the smoked corpse room and shut the door behind them, and then it was done. Lonzo, in what could be taken as a really nice boss move, let me use his office to clean up, then made me the mixologist's bitch for the rest of the shift, which basically means drinking whatever new cocktails the mixologist is trying to create, while attempting to imagine I don't have a werewolf palate so I can give my opinion on recipes meant for blood drinkers and kale chompers. I didn't bother trying to find my ditched stilettos when the club closed, and I finally got to go back to the shitty hovel I call home. If any of the few pre-dawn wanderers I passed on my walk noticed my bare feet, they were smart enough not to say anything. Jay had left my apartment door unlocked, so I got to walk straight into Jay sleeping on my couch and the still bleeding Arabite leaking on my living room floor, wrists and ankles bound, lying in a salted circle of runes, of course. I thought, because I'm an idiot, I'd sleep, wake up sober, and come up with a brilliant idea for figuring out if I had a murderer, victim, or innocent bystander still fucking bleeding on my floor. All I have is a hangover and increasing wonder at how the fuck this girl has any more blood to ooze and a J in my shower. I don't regret not handing her to Lonzo. Aside from keeping her alive, blaming an Arabite for Etherean deaths would make tensions between supernaturals even worse, and we'd be giving up the chance to find out what actually happened. I did the right fucking thing. Great. Go me. I can feel you thinking, good intentions are a great way to die. What's your plan, Laurie? The thing is, I'm planless. I don't know how to heal an Arabite. I don't know how to tell if one is telling the truth, and I certainly don't know how to torture information from a Hecatean. Yeah, I said that right. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Sorry, I'm always the problem. Love, L. And that's it.
Yay!
That's
Congratulations.
Thank you. Now, how many more installments do we have? Is it just 1? 2?
This is much like asking me when the end of the book is.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. There is a... I always say that. Here's the thing. Mm-hmm. I'm a mess. That's the real truth of it. But here's the excuse that I'm using because I'm a mess. There is a very specific point in Laurie's story that I want to get to.
Okay. Before we pick back up with season 2.
So that there is like a break in her story.
So this is not ending Laurie's story. This in between.
No.
Okay.
This is getting Laurie to a certain point in life. And there is a point in life where we can get this far. And then we need to not go any farther until we get farther in Ella's story. Further in Ella's story.
Thank you.
So we're almost to that point where it's like, this is where I wanted to get to. And not because any of this is backstory that you're gonna need for Ella's story going on.
Yeah.
But this is the moment in Laurie's story that clicks the next step in Ella's story into place. So I want to get to that click moment.
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Not entirely to me yet, but I'm assuming it will once we see the click.
We'll see. I'm hoping.
Yeah. Okay. So the very first comment I have is LOL, because you threw in an apartment number that we've had, twice?
Yes, we lived in apartment 221. It was the first 2 apartments we rented together.
Right. It was the first one that we had in Oklahoma City.
Where they had the meth raid downstairs.
Yes, and that's where we were living when I proposed to you.
Yes, and funny
Not
story.
Not in the meth lab apartment complex.
No, elsewhere. But I was going to class one day, and I opened the door, and there's a SWAT team in front of my apartment, and they're laying on the little grass, and they've got their big guns, and I could not get past them, so I went back inside, got in the bathtub, emailed my professor from the bathtub, and put my computer outside the bathtub, and then took a bath, because I was like, well, this seems safe, and I'm not walking past those bitches.
You know, I'm thinking about it now, and I actually think that we had a 221 later in life because we were not on the second floor in the Bronx apartment, I don't think. I think
else would we have had a 221?
Weren't we on, maybe in Fort Myers?
No.
It's possible.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, anyway.
And by that, I mean we won't.
No, we won't.
We've lived there more than once.
Yeah, it's fine. But we have definitely lived in 2 apartment 221s.
Yes.
Okay, so the amount of fucks in this chapter we're growing. I noticed. Are you doing that on purpose, increasing the number of fucks?
For Laurie's chapter?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
If you look at the number, it's mostly J.
Yeah, it is mostly
and
J.
And the thing is, Ella thinks in fucks consistently.
She does.
Laurie thinks in fucks in trauma. So, like, Laurie thinks in shits.
Yeah.
And goes to fuck. Ella starts at fuck and goes to fuck. Does that make sense?
It does.
So she's just found 7 corpses and a dying person. So that's why the fucks have increased.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Also, she's working in a club that has demons in it. So, like, the vocabulary is going to change based on her moment in life.
Oh.
Also, Jay says fuck a lot, as his favorite phrase is motherfucker.
Yeah, I love Jay. Motherfucker.
Your voice for him.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so I actually want to talk about this because I didn't write it down, but I want to talk about it before I forget. So, do you want to go into what a Hecatean is?
So I don't want to do. I'll do a breakdown on Substack for this.
All right. Well, all right. Sounds good. But
because it's a little stacked.
This is all related to the Greek goddess Hecate.
Yes. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking down, and this is because we're talking about Arabites here.
Right.
And this is a different world than what Ella has been in.
Right.
Partially because she's so sheltered. So we have not touched on any of this in Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer.
Ella's sheltered?
Compared to this, yeah. She has been kept very much away from Arabites.
Oh, that's true.
Like, she doesn't have anything to do with Arabites.
Oh, my God. Yeah, Laurie has already, at this point in her life, had so much more. I mean, not so much more, but considerably more life experience than Ella has. Yeah,
I mean, she's already graduated college.
Yep.
She's living in Manhattan. She's working in a bar that has demons.
Yeah.
So as dark as Ella's life is, and as much as she gets drawn into this dark shit, she's very sheltered still.
That's
because there are
so
always people trying to keep her away from it.
It's so fascinating because in her world, she's the least sheltered. So it's fascinating.
But she's also, like, she's been moved from Etherean stronghold to Etherean stronghold. Sure. Always kept in those places where there were Ethereans to protect her.
Yeah.
Because Sibyls were created for the Ethereans. So she's never allowed to go around any of that. She doesn't associate with Arabites. She doesn't know these people. She sees them in Kate's books.
Yeah.
She's met a couple,
well,
but it's not like her interaction. Those aren't people she knows.
Right. And I was just thinking through the lore that you've created, and there is absolutely no way that Ethereans would be meant for Arabites at all, just because of the treaty, right?
The Sibyls, you mean?
The Sibyls.
No, Sibyls are
Sibyls
not
are Ethereans,
meant
period.
For,
they're not meant for not meant for the Arabites.
Yeah, so it's
so fascinating.
Not her world.
Yeah, because they were created by the dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as an author, it's really cool to me because this is a deeper, darker, bloodier world than Ella.
Yeah.
And that's not what Ella's series is, but because of this in-between a season, I know it's fucked up that deep, dark, and bloody is not what Ella's series is.
That's not it.
But it's super fun to get to go into this sort of darker world that exists in the universe of Laurel Dale, but we just haven't visited it yet.
Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry about that phone call.
I didn't know I had phone service.
I didn't know that we had phone service either. That's very exciting. Maybe I can get stuff to actually go through now. Anyway.
Nope, it's already gone. Back to SOS mode.
Man. Okay, that's fine. What I was laughing at is because the dragons. So you now have officially 2 series that canonically, well, okay. Well, no, canonically, because they do have dragons in them, and we don't see them in either series. You think about that? In Laurelvale and in Ilbrea.
Well, but dragons and okay. Before all of my Ilbrea fans get excited, dragons do not exist in the Ilbrea part.
Well, they don't list. They exist in Ilbrea in the country.
No, if you look at the Ilbrean map,
did they at one point get eradicated by the sorcerers?
They would have predated the sorcerers.
Oh, okay, all right.
But there are. If you have a map of Ilbrea, or you can find it on my website.
No, actually, not.
Can you post a link with it to the podcast?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll post a link to the Ilbrea map for the podcast. And if you look at the Ilbrea map, we've kind of been in the center section the whole time. Now, if you look down, sorry, I'm doing left and right. This is my right hand. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner you're going to find a little city called Akalia on the map. That is another book series that is in the world of Ilbrea, and there is a book
which I was supposed to have been editing it by now, but I haven't.
Nothing's ever happened with it.
I mean, re-edited it because we've edited it.
Yeah, it's been edited. It's been edited. It was one of those ones.
But it was years ago, so we do need to re-edit it.
Absolutely, but it was one that had gotten shopped out with my agent at the time, and it was one of those. The market doesn't want it. There's LGBTQ.
This was back when you were traditionally published.
Yes, and so it went into a drawer, but Akalia exists in the world of Ilbrea.
Yes.
Now, if you're looking for dragons in the world of Ilbrea, you want to go to this is my left hand. Yeah. You want to go to the left. So if you look at the barrens on the left-hand side of the map, if you were to go deeper into the barrens, is where we're going to get into some more mythical creature territory, because they are separated from the magic on the Ilbrean mainland section. That also includes like the Nakalia and all that. So they're over to the left, but they do exist in the same world.
Yeah. And they appeared in the very, very first novel that Megan ever wrote for Ilbrea, but she trashed that novel. It's gone forever.
It is forever
Sadly.
and ever remain. Well, this isn't an Ilbrea podcast, but
but it is. It's just like it's not a Titanic podcast, but it is.
But it is. But what that original book was it was Mara joining
the Mapmakers.
The Mapmakers family. It was Nico.
What was she, like 11, 12?
Well, she was there before. She had been there for a while.
Right.
But it was Mara and Alora.
Yes.
It was Adriel.
But Mara was just a ward at the time.
Mara was just a ward. She was not a Mapmaker. Adriel was there, but
We don't ever see him, though.
No, because he didn't want to come out of hiding.
Yeah.
He is mentioned, but he is hiding the whole time.
Is he mentioned?
He's mentioned, and they leave him behind.
Oh, man.
Because he's not allowed to go on the boat.
I want to go back and read this book again.
He's not allowed to go with them, because he just wants to hide.
Yeah.
Like, Alora's giving him reading lessons, and he's hiding in the closet with his books.
Oh, that's right.
Because he's scared, and so she just teaches him reading in the closet and lets him stay there. But this is, in that story, is where we meet Nico, or Kai and
Tham, on a ship.
Yeah, so it starts with Nico is just joining the Mapmaker. We have Mara, Alora, and Adriel's hiding.
Yeah, this
in the corner.
is Nico gets his compass mark.
Yes, he gets his mark
at the beginning of the book,
and then we meet Kai and Tham. So that's all there.
Yeah,
that exists. It's never going to be published, but it's there.
Brittany, help me. We need to figure out a way to get this published somehow. Okay. Sorry. Continue.
Someday. Weird Ilbrean middle grade.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is that side of the map.
But we met a dragon in that and it was fun.
We did. Yes. Anyway, but so this is kind of giving me that ability to, going back, let's state what I'm talking about.
Sure.
In the world of Laurelvale, branching off into this in between a season with Laurie's story, and Other Words for Fun, has given me the ability to explore this other section of mythology that very much has to be in the world in order for Ella's story to make sense.
Sure.
But we don't get to touch it.
Okay.
So I get to do that because it's more adult. It's darker.
Yes.
She's not sheltered. It's a different person's reactions to things. So, it's fun to get to do that as an author.
Okay. Yeah, agreed. This next part, just don't let arson become a habit. I was like, nice callback to her setting the dress on fire. What? It becomes a habit?
She passes it down to her daughter.
Oh my God. She does. Oh my God.
That's why Ella's like, oh, just burn it.
Just burn it. Just burn it all.
You got a problem? Just burn it. It's one of those things. Well, you know how you find a weird solution in life and then it just keeps coming up?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to do this. Don't worry, I'll fix it. I just burn it.
Let's talk a little bit about this witch in leather chaps and nothing else. I was like, oh, God.
So.
And she puts out the fire, and I was like, how is she putting out the fire? It doesn't matter.
It's not necessarily a she.
Oh, that's right, because witch is right. I'm sorry.
So you can decide whatever genitalia you would like the witch to have in their chaps. Now, chaps are by nature assless, though we did have a discussion with our author friends about how though chaps are assless by nature, chaps could have butts eventually. So then the phrase assless chaps could make sense, which I know a costume designer whose least favorite phrase is assless chaps, since chaps are by definition assless. So there was a whole conversation about that. But yes, it could be whatever genitalia you like in the chaps, but someone in assless chaps.
And by gender, you mean like sex.
Yeah. Someone of either jiggly bits.
And whatever persuasion. Sure. That's funny.
Pick
whatever
the jiggly
identity.
bits.
Okay, so that's let's end it with jiggly bits, because that's all I have.
You can't top jiggly bits?
I can't top jiggly bits. Nothing will ever top jiggly bits. I just want to let all of you know, especially our good friend Justin, who listens to the podcast. Hi, Justin. That we did just edit content out. We were talking to Justin, a very good friend of ours, and we were talking to him about the podcast, and he was like, I love how you say that you edit stuff out. There's no way you edit anything. And I was like, oh no, we do. And this was one of those moments.
Yes. You went too far around the bend. We needed to rein that shit back in.
Yeah, we did need to rein that shit back in. Okay,
it's usually you. You usually go off on a
So as we were saying, no, nothing will top jiggly bits.
Yes.
So what do you have to say to everyone?
I have to say thank you for your patience and the episode being out a day late.
Yeah, we had to figure out how to deal with the rushing, roaring river.
Which is one of the things I like
cool.
about this podcast is that we have always been very honest that this is a learning process for us. And this is the first time that we've done an in-between a season where we are recording on the road intentionally. And we learned rivers don't stay that close to a river. If your head is 18 inches from a river and it's rushing, you can't record there.
And she's not kidding. Like literally 18 inches from her head.
You
where
said
she
18
sleeps.
inches after jiggly bits.
Oh, that 18 inches ain't. Never mind. Go ahead.
But no, I kept waking up
2
last
feet's
night
not a big
thinking.
deal.
I kept waking up thinking that I was floating down the river, and I couldn't figure out why until this morning. And I looked out our little tent window, and I was like, oh, it's literally the rushing river is 18 inches from my pillow.
From our platform tent.
So no wonder I felt like I was floating away. And we can't record there. But, learning process.
Yes.
We are learning. We are growing. We are building up.
Hopefully we have all grown.
We are building up for a super successful season 2.
Yes, we are.
And I'm having a lot of fun going into the Aerobite world.
I am too. And
Laureldale Universe is getting big.
Laureldale Universe is getting big.
Should I have named it something other than Laureldale since it is so big? Or no, because it's where the story starts.
No, it's where the story starts. And we talked a lot about that. And I think we mentioned this on the podcast before, but one of the reasons that we named it Laureldale is because it is, that is the setting for Ella's story, for at least the majority of it, for all of it in book 1. And also because, hey, look, we're also trying to hit certain points in the market, and Riverdale, Laureldale, that was one of the reasons.
Well, it's not
one of the reasons when we were tossing around the ideas.
Well, no, it's Riverdale.
Yes.
Sunnydale.
Yes.
Like all those cutesy small town names go really well with paranormal.
They do.
And it was one
because
of those.
They sound so sunshiny.
Yeah. Well, and I looked up, this is more information on world building. We're doing really well ending the podcast. I looked up information on a lot of okay, what's a vale? What's a dale? What's a this? What's a that? To pick based on where in the mountains I wanted this to be and what shape it would be. If someone knew what they were talking about, what would they name this city? And because it is a place that has a lot of influence from Ethereans, Laurel is a hugely popular protection element in Greek mythology that, of course, that's going to be planted everywhere around here because that's what Ethereans are doing, because that's what you do. You plant things.
Yeah, you protect.
You protect. And so, and it's actually a dale is the shape of it. So that's why we went with Laureldale. I didn't pull it out of my butt.
No.
Woo!
No, but I'm talking about just for the series title.
Yeah, no.
Because we talked about other things, and that was what we landed on because of, I think, those reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's but if we leave Laureldale, but it's still the universe of Laureldale.
It's still the universe of Laureldale, yeah. That's
the Laureldale universe.
The Laureldale-verse. All right. So why don't you tell people where they can find us? The Laylaverse.
And other words for fun. So So if you are listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, do me a favor and click that subscribe button. It has recently come to our attention that subscribe button is the analytic that matters. So please do subscribe. Also, if you would like to review, leave a comment, all of those lovely things that make the algorithm know that you want to see us again next week. And yeah, check out the Substack, Megan Russell's Substack, because it has fun stuff. And we're going to have there was something you were supposed to put up. Oh, we'll link to the Ilbrea map on there,
yes,
so that can come up for you. So I'll put together a post of the Ilbrea map, and there was something else, but Chris will tell me what it is, and I will get it up on Substack for you.
Sure, I 100% will.
You will when you proof the podcast. You'll hear it.
Oh, yes, sure. So that is it for us.
Yeah.
As always, thank you for reading.